All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? A shout out to Kayvon Jackstar, my newest Patreon member. Thank you so much. The man joined. Kayvon joins literally as I ended the live stream last night, so I didn't get to say nothing, and so I'm shouting it out right now. What's going on, Matt Stansberry? Already in the chat. So interestingly enough, some news came out in a press conference today. Wyatt. No, not really. We'll talk to Loyalist about that in a minute, Wyatt. But I am going to do a quick recording when we do this. Don't forget, if you guys want to join, that link is in the description, or in that I sent you on Patreon. You got that, right, Loyalist?
Yes, sir.
The message? Okay.
Yes.
What's up, Chuck? What's going on? So, you know what? This was supposed to be a Patreon only, and I don't think this is Patreon only. I think I clicked the wrong thing. But it's okay. Screw it. You know what? Only the people on Patreon have the join link. Okay? So, it is what it is. Okay? So, at least you get something out of it. I just remembered I did not click. I saw Chuck in here, and I'm like, oh, crap. But it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. So what I'm going to do, the first 5-10 minutes, we're going to discuss something that Frank Reich said in his press conference today. All right?
Okay.
And that's going to be recorded for my news break. By the way, that recording I did yesterday in the live stream, it's already got 2,000 views on it. All right? Heck yeah. I got over 35 followers on Newsbreak from that one video. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You guys can support me. Don't forget, just by using that link in the description under Newsbreak. You just click that, download it, follow me. By using that link, you support us financially, but it's free for you. It's awesome. Plus, you get the little short clips that we do on Newsbreak. So, it is what it is. What's up? Kayvon just got done talking about you being the new guy over on Patreon that you joined as I ended the stream yesterday. Sorry I wasn't able to shout you out yesterday. Hanif, what's going on? So, we're not going to get to the chat. And if you join, those of you that are on Patreon, all right, you got the Patreon message. There's a link in there to join this video. If you click that and you show up in here on the StreamYard by using your phone or laptop or computer or whatnot, I will bring you in, but right after we get done doing this recording, all right? Because this is a pretty big news thing for those who are very close followers of the Indianapolis Colts. So here we go, getting ready to start recording now. What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen, and that's Colts Loyalist. And today, Loyalist, my guy here, was obviously at training camp. Not only today, but yesterday. I mean, we both have been to multiple training camps throughout this 2021 NFL season. But today, Frank Reich, in a press conference, said some very interesting things. First off, it was brought up about how good Sam Ehlinger has looked so far in practice, and he has admitted that yes, Sam Ehlinger over the past few days has looked very good. And then another question came up: is there thoughts of bringing him into the first team reps and taking away some of those first team reps from Easton? Frank said, we have not had those discussions, and there is no plans at this time. Currently, Easton is our guy. He's doing well. He's doing very good as well, making a lot of progression through, learning this training camp, and we will continue to do that. Your thoughts, Loyalist, on Frank Reich sticking with Jacob Easton, even though it seems like media and fans and a bunch of others have a little bit of interest in seeing what Sam Ehlinger could do with the ones.
As you're familiar with, I mean, we discussed it in decent length last night, but I am very much on board with just sticking with Jacob. I feel like, young man, like we said, did not get much run time at all last year. So it's a big thing. Every snap he takes, every experience that he has out on that practice field is massive, especially if we do need him in week 1 or week 2, depending on, how long it takes Carson not only to get healed and practicing, but get himself, in sync for the game. So massive fan. Thank you, Coach.
Absolutely. I believe that as well. I've seen things from Jacob Eason that Sam Ehlinger just is not able to do, right? Yes, Sam's a little bit, he seems to understand the pro style a little bit more. He was a 4-year starter at Texas. What did you expect? Whereas Sam only had 2 full years of college experience, was completely out of football his junior year, right? Yeah. And then he comes into the Colts, and last year he couldn't do anything. Not hardly any kind of snaps at all in practice. No, nothing. So he's learning from the get-go, but obviously he has the ability to place that ball anywhere on the field at any given time, in any given situation. And that's something that just Sam doesn't quite have. But Sam does have a natural ability to be able to move the sticks and make plays happen. So it'll be interesting seeing this quarterback battle go on throughout training camp and preseason. Not to mention Carson Wentz will be back sometime between week 1 and week 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said, I mean, right now, as far as the Carson Wentz situation, that's bad news. But as far as the Sam Ehlinger and the Jacob Eason and the amount of reps that these young men have been getting in, because, guys, it's not like last year, okay? They have training camp, so Sam is getting reps, you know what I mean? It's just not with the ones and against the ones. Yeah, but like you said, this is making the best of an unfortunate situation. And like I said, in the long run, I think it's going to really, really help galvanize this team.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching here on News Break. If you want to give me a follow, I would much appreciate it, along with Loyalist. And you can also use the link here on my page to get to my YouTube and check out all of my other stuff. And until next time, have a good one. And just like that, I'm not letting Cam Newton join because he's down there with the Red Dead. Oh, yeah, I guess I will. So I was recording there, bud. So, I had mentioned before I went live that I was gonna, if anyone popped in, I'd bring him in after we got done recording about that.
Pay your bills first.
So apparently, yeah, I saw that too. That's pretty smooth. Cam Dead Redemption is what it should say. But anyhow.
Oh, redemption time. Don't be scared. All right, it's only December. Congratulations, Peyton Manning.
And Edgerrin James.
Yeah, man. Great news. Great competitor. Even amazing perfectionist. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Again, everyone came out. Even Brewski came out. And, again, he had to face him all those years. And, again, respect goes a long way.
Yeah, it does.
Everybody knows I'm a Peyton fan, but we got to show equal love for a wedge out there.
Oh, my
God. Training camp.
What was it? What was the quote for him? Gold teeth, gold jacket, or what was it?
Yeah.
So, hey, shout out to some of these guys that are already in the chat. Jonathan Garcia and Martin Hazel, obviously. Now, this was supposed to be, now I'm going to explain something to you, Ross. This was supposed to be only Patreon, but apparently I didn't click the unlisted when I made this. So,
do you want to repost or you?
No. Patreon subscribers still have the unique ability to join the stream.
No, I'm not worried.
Right?
No, I was more concerned with trolls coming in and all of a sudden they're popping up on camera and then you can't use any of this footage.
Well, no. Only now. See, I sent the link only to the Patreon subscribers.
Yeah.
So but obviously the YouTube thing it went public rather than private. But it is what it is. That just means we're gonna have a whole bunch more people in this chat, man.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, again, this is football. It's exciting right now. Everyone's getting on that cusp before we start seeing guys actually play real football. It's an exciting time.
Yeah. Also, guys, this is kind of an inside look for all you people out there on YouTube that are not a part of Patreon. This is going to be ran very much like a Patreon subscribers. So, if you're not a member of Patreon, it's only $5 a month. The link is at the bottom of the description of this video. And, you could join things like this every time we have them. So it's really cool.
Thank you, Matthew Stansberry, for saying I'm goofy. Thanks, man. I've been called today, by the way.
This is a situation. We talk just in a Patreon stream. We talk about whatever, right? Generally, we start out talking about training camp if we have one of us go to training camp, which Loyalist did. He went yesterday and today, so this is more his show up front. John Davis says Loyalist is coming into his own. There's a huge difference between the first and that first week that I brought you on, Loyalist, and now. It's very similar to how I was progressing. Very robotic at first, and you kind of felt like and now you seem much more comfortable.
I appreciate it. It's sort of weird because, like I said, really until everything got shut down, I didn't do the whole YouTube thing, and now I'm like, oh, this is fun.
So I'm gonna have to give out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to give an apology. Like I was telling Loyalist before, I do not have an air conditioning here in my office. The air conditioner is in my bedroom, which my wife is in there sleeping right now, so I have the door shut because I have to speak up so you guys could hear me. So yeah, it's cooking in here currently right now. So if I start sweating, it is what it is. All right, it's just what I go through to be here with you guys.
Completely understand, man. Completely understand. Happy wife, happy life.
Yep. Oh, Chuck Millsap with a $5 donation right there. Not a patron, but considering it's a Patreon stream, I'll pay my dues. Keep up the good work. Muchas gracias, señor. All right. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. You didn't have to do that, honestly, but I do appreciate it. It's big, like I said, it's kind of like an inside look, I guess. We could use it that way, into what, Patreon streams are like. I would not be surprised. I was getting ready to say, I wouldn't be surprised if Joe pops up in here anytime soon. And there he is.
What up, Joe?
What's going on, guys?
Congratulations on the Hall of Fame game, buddy.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot. Yeah. Just give us a
real
trophy
dynamic
now.
team you're up against.
Yeah, just give us a trophy now. Just come on. Yeah,
just for everybody that's not real familiar, we have Patriots fan,
Yep.
Pittsburgh fan.
Yeah. I got fans of all sorts of teams that are that follow me because I respect people, man. And that kind of gives a lot back, because like I'll join a Browns channel. I've got Browns fans, and Joe knows this. I got a Browns fan that comes in here a lot and joins and talks. We got LA Rams is in here like on a daily basis whenever we do a live stream, and I haven't even joined a Rams channel stream before, but he's in here, but he's respectful.
Yeah, and we're all just fans of football, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's generally why we like to chat, because again, it's playful banter, but at the end of the day, we respect the sport.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Matthew Stanberry has a question. I'm gonna relay this to you, Lawrence. When are we gonna start seeing mac and cheese play, huh?
That's an interesting. Probably not soon, right? I mean, from what I'm understanding, Cam's playing pretty good, isn't he?
If he implodes, it's going to be the way of things. Like, again, it's all up to Cam this season. If he succeeds, he succeeds. If he doesn't, I don't think that they're going to be able to hold him. If he goes worse than last season, which I don't know how, they wouldn't have any choice. Hoyer's not going to do the job, and definitely I don't see Stiddy coming out of anywhere doing anything.
Yep.
So let me ask you, what do you think his window is? His length of chain or whatever, is before they start?
Everyone wants to say it's short, but I think every quarterback for the Patriots has a short lease after Tom Brady, the GOAT, left. So I got to say is if he gets 10 wins this season, he can quiet down a lot of the haters.
Uh-huh.
If he doesn't, unfortunately, it'll probably be his last season. It's unfortunate, and I don't want to see it. I like the kid. I think he's been solid since Auburn, but he's taken a lot of damage as a running quarterback. It's sad, but it is what it is, Yeah. I will not take away any respect from him, what he's done in the league and how he's inspired not just the youth football fans, but also, came into this locker room right after the GOAT leaves and just attempts to bring them all together. And again, I hope the best, but they got Mac in the wings for a reason.
I'm going to get into the training camp chat real quick because here's a question for you, Loyalist, right here. Michael Fell. What's your thoughts on what you've seen from Easton the last couple days?
All right. Thank you. Let me tell you guys, today was a great football day. Nobody, offense, defense, they both had their high points and their low points, but nobody just, looked like they didn't belong on the field. First day for me to get to see them in pads. Yesterday they went and twice now I've gone where they just switched it up and didn't run pads. I'm like, come on. So this was my first day to get to see them in pads. And I know you asked about Easton, but I've got to get this out of me. I've been holding it since we got out of camp. Quitty is impressive. I mean, you guys know I'm all like, hey, he's a rookie. This young man put pads on today. And to see that acceleration, and it just did not stop. I mean,
it's one thing to see it live. Yeah.
Every snap, he come off that ball, and he was, full throttle all day long. At the very end of the day, I felt really bad for him because it looked like he started cramping up and stuff. But like I said, now I got my fanboy moment out of me. Okay. Quitty, just I'm telling you guys, just with today's practice, my expectations on Quitty are elevated a little bit. Not ridiculous, but I was very pleased to see how good he looked out there today against the ones. Jacob Easton, Sam Ellinger both had amazing days, if you ask me. Yesterday, there was multiple times where they were overthrowing him, and especially with Jacob. I thought, man, Jacob was really just having, and he did. He just had not a good day at all in shells. So that was even more of a concern. Okay, today he was out there, and I would say he put together his best running of the offense that I've seen all training camp. Okay, they did this 4-minute drill, move the ball, no huddle, and it was like it just was like, how you sometimes get into the no huddle and stuff, and you don't overthink, or you don't, analysis paralysis by analysis, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, he just went out there. He wasn't thinking. It was just him running the offense. And guys, it was so much better than what I had expected with what I'd seen over the last, week and stuff. That I was like, okay, And then, like I said, Sam Ellinger, he came in with the 2s and 3s and performed very well himself. And Jacob got a ton of snaps. I mean, I would say Jacob probably got, I didn't keep exact count, but I would say Jacob got at least twice as many snaps as Sam did today.
Well, you kind of expect it for guys to start feeling a little bit more comfortable when you're a redshirt freshman or a true freshman. After a week or so in the camp, you start to feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more loose, right? And you would see that. Coming in with Quitty Payne, they had a discussion about him and asked why he seemed like he looked faster, because you weren't the only one that noticed that. Like, reporters noticed that, and they were asking Frank Reich about it. And Frank,
the fans noticed it. Everybody was talking about it. I mean, it was like, oh yeah, it was very noticeable today. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. So his answer was, when he played at Michigan, he basically ran at the 5 tech and didn't go out further. He usually didn't play 7, didn't play 9, right? Apparently the Colts are changing his angles, giving him a wider angle to use that speed, at the 7 and at the 9. And he's been working only on his angle of approach, apparently, the last few days. Apparently Eberflus and them are telling him, don't worry about winning. Get your speed, take off, and angle right, okay? You get that right, you're going to beat half of your reps because of how quick you are off the ball and how fast you are. You just got to get your angle right. And apparently today, he got his angle right a lot, and it looked good.
Yeah, and the nice thing was today, I mean, like I said, Tevy was against him numerous times. And I'm telling you right now, I've been the hardest guy on Tevy. I know I have, out of all of us. Tevy, he won some, he lost some. But when he won, they were clear wins. It wasn't he won just because he shielded them away. I mean, they were clear wins, okay? Like I said, today was just a good football day. See some guys win and then turn around and rematch and, and a different, result.
That's what I like hearing, because, man, you sit here and you watch, or, you see these reports in training camp from media, and they'll have, like, one clip of, like, a certain player getting beat or a certain player balling out, having a great play. And you're like, well, what do you do the rest of it? Okay, that's one play, right? That's a narrative that you're pushing. I want to know what's going on with the other stuff, too. Is this something he's doing on a consistent basis? Or is this, a flash in the pan type situation? And, that I'm seeing that an awful lot. Like, especially in camps that I go to, and when I come back and I see, this one play against this one person, he's like, this dude is horrible. And I'm like, that's the one play that he gave up. Every player gives up a play generally each game, at least one. You don't see someone perfect day. Quentin Nelson is not perfect day in, day out, rep in, rep out. You know what I mean?
No one is. Yeah.
Exactly. Otherwise, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady would have no interceptions ever in their career. Ben Roethlisberger would never be sacked because he just shrugged everybody off. But it is, and I don't want the narrative. I want the facts of the situation, and that's why I like having guys, whether it's you, whether it's me, whether it's a close friend of mine that's out there, feet on the ground, watching, and we know what's actually going on rather than just what media is out there trying to,
What? You don't want Ian Rappaport type news? Come on.
He's not the worst one of them, I can tell you.
Oh,
that.
I know. That's the first name I could think of.
But I get entirely what you're saying. But to kind of go into a little bit on Quitty Payne, I'm not, obviously I'm not there. I'm not seeing what Ian's are seeing. But he was my pick for the Colts with the 21 way back in February. I mean, I was talking about this. Like, he was the guy that I thought the Colts really needed to go after, because you know how Ballard is. He's not going to trade up to get a quarterback. He's not going to do any of that stuff. And, there's a legitimate – if the guy falls to you at 21, you take him because he's got that raw talent. And the thing about that is, okay, then you can talk about character, and then we get into some narratives. But the thing about it is his intelligence makes him coachable. His intelligence makes him coachable. He reminds me almost of like a James Harrison type player because of that, because he's got such a high ceiling. It's just up. It's in low orbit. I mean, forget about it.
Smart guys go far in this league.
Yeah, right.
And I want to reiterate, some of these battles that he wasn't winning today, guys, it wasn't because he didn't have another option to win that particular battle. When Quitty is, I mean, I've watched these guys now, and I've not seen a rookie or a young, even a second-year D lineman come in and stay so consistent with whatever it is he's working on. He is just, I mean, this guy, you can see it rep after rep, and it's like, okay, yeah, that was a little low on the rip or something, you know what I mean? The very next time around, it's the same rip, but it's just, I mean, I love the way that he doesn't sit there and settle for okay, this doesn't work, and just automatically go to something else. He's
Absolutely.
like, I'm not supposed to be beating these guys out there, you know what I mean? I'm supposed to be here just putting my nose down and working. And I am deeply impressed with his character in that particular aspect, especially.
Well, it's just his drive to compete, you know? That says a lot. It's like, again, you can respect your veterans, but you can pay them the biggest respect by, you know, playing your hardest and just making a name for yourself at camp, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I mean, today was no joke. That heat out there, guys, I mean, you know, I imagine probably 92, 93 degrees out. And I'm sitting there, just a shirt and a hat, and we're all going, oh, it's hot out here. And these guys are out here killing themselves. And like you said, you know, I mean, they are just, I mean, to sit there and run yourself to the point of just, you know, like I said, to where you're cramping your muscles up. I mean, and it wasn't like he wasn't keeping liquids in. It was just they were leaving faster than he could put them in.
Yeah. Kayvon has a question, and since he's my newest patron member, I think I should probably get that question out there. Rhodes came back yesterday. Now, obviously, there was a clip of Michael Strawn, the rookie, kind of strong-arming Xavier Rhodes into a one-handed catch along the sideline, right? But that's just one play, like we said. What have you noticed from Xavier Rhodes as a whole the last couple days since he's been back?
Okay. Yesterday in shells, I was just noticing that, you know what? There's not a whole lot of difference from Xavier in shells and not in shells. His hand fighting, his aggressive nature at the line of scrimmage, I mean, it's legit. You know what I mean? Because I didn't get to see him last year, you know? And, I mean, this young man is really very physically controlling of a situation, you know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, that's impressive. But I was just like, you know, thinking, you know, take it a little easy here, you know what I mean? They're just in shells. Then today he comes out there, and I was like, okay, you know, and I kid you not, he set the tone. Because before we go any further, I just want to, okay, I had a whole roller coaster today because I was like, yay, they're in pads. And then I go out there and I look, now listen to this. I got to pull out my notes, okay?
He's got notes.
All right, you ready for this? This is above the guys that you already know. This is above the Quentin Nelsons, the Carson Wentz. All right, the people that are getting all the pup. T.Y. Hilton, Sean Davis out of Florida, Julian Blackman. Where are the rest of them? 4 tight ends: Mo Alley Cox, Jack Doyle, Kyle Granson, and I'm going to mess this up, but Noah Togiai. Sorry if I messed it up, Noah. All right, DeForest Buckner, Sky Moore, Kimoko Torre, Jordan Glasgow, Darius we knew about. I mean, I would like to have that lineup just to build around and make a team. And these are all the guys that did not even compete today. These are the guys that were in street clothes. Now, I apologize. I didn't have time after. Okay, I had time. I was resting. I needed it after getting back from camp. I unplugged for about an hour or so and just drank a little adult refreshment and relaxed for a minute. But these guys were the ones that weren't in the pads and stuff. And I'll tell you right now, the coaching staff treated everybody out there like they were all the T.Y. Hiltons and the Darius Leonards out there. The juice that this coaching staff brought out. So I go in there from the high of, oh, cool, they're in pads today, to the, oh, man, this guy's missing and this guy's missing. And then I go back into the high of just seeing these guys compete and seeing these coaches coaching them up. And I mean, there was, I'm not sure what was all being said, but there was definitely like a whole thing going on between Coach Reich and Coach Baker. I mean, the offense and defense, what?
Go ahead.
Oh, the offense and defense was going, but I mean, these coaches were out there just, and I mean, as a fan, the fanboy side of it, I was just like, this is awesome. You know what I mean? Just seeing the energy and stuff. And I think that is something that really, really transferred to the team. And I'm not saying that's what got these, because they competed. They're trying to earn a job. I understand. But you got to admit, that energy, that extra juice, that's got to be special, you know, out there. You know what I mean? And there was even a couple times, I wouldn't say it got chippy, but, you know, like somebody got hit a little hard or a little excessive, and then they'd throw the ball back at them. And I thought George Odom, I thought, oh, because somebody threw the ball and hit Odom in the back, and I was like, oh, here we go. He turned around and walked away, and he just turned right back around. He's like, all right, I know what's up. And then he leveled the next play. I was like, hey, yeah.
Okay, so Frank Reich actually addressed both the situations that you just got done talking about. Him and Baker apparently were going at each other in fun, right? It was a competition that they were going through, just for fun out there. And he said that was just, you know, old college buddies out there trying to have a little fun and use, you know, what they had against each other. So
I totally forgot about them. Oh, Maryland, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. And then he also addressed the injuries and why a lot of people weren't out there. And Dabney, I am going to get to that real quick. The majority of the people that were out today, it was just nicks and bruises, just little tiny things. He even had to say, I hate to say this, but DeForest Buckner has a foot injury. You know, and everybody went, you know.
That's okay. Remember, that only happens to the offensive side of the ball.
So, but he said basically what today is, because next week is getting ready to start preparing with Carolina and starting to get ready for preseason in the full contact practices, that they want to get ahead of all the little nicks and bruises and get those healed and out of the way quickly. So they're letting some of those guys get out there, take some time off. He's like Granson, Blackman, Buckner, and he named off a couple others that he's just like, they would have practiced normally today.
Yeah.
But, you know, because they were trying to get ahead of any little tiny, whether it was a light spring or, you know, something of that nature. I don't know, maybe a jammed finger. I don't know what it is that they had. But they're just trying to get it out of the way so it's not a lingering injury later on, so they could play to their full potential. Because he says...
So then like the TYs and the Doyles were just more veteran rest days then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You get a lot... I mean, veterans generally get 1 day a week off anyhow, you know, a veteran rest day. So, it is what it is.
I will tell you right now, Mr. Farad Green, sir, you were the Iron Man today. He, like I said, we had 4 tight ends sitting. This young man, it looked like about 30 minutes in, like he had done something to himself, but he just kept picking himself up. And I mean, this kid, man, he was out there just taking and trying to suck out every ounce of opportunity that he had today. And I'll be honest with you, when they started doing the no huddle and stuff, I was watching him the most, because I was just like, that's gotta suck. You know, I mean, he was in, I mean, I bet he took enough snap counts that you could have probably taken 3 players, you know, and added them together, and he still got more snaps. It was a day for him.
Yeah.
Hey, Dabney has a question. Is Granson's injury serious?
Yeah,
What's
that's what I
your
was.
thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, that's what I was saying about earlier. No, it was not. It's not serious. It's
Okay.
just one of those nicks and bruises that. I almost said Chuck Pagano. Oh my goodness. That Frank Reich was just talking about, and you keep saying this kid out here, and I see you're trying to catch yourself when you're talking about the age that all four of us are sitting at right now. We look at them and think they're kids, right? But they are.
Yes.
What are you
They are,
talking
man.
about?
I don't mean
I don't know what.
any disrespect.
Here's the way I
I just
explain
turned
that.
30, man. What are you talking about?
You
Here's
just
the way I
turned 30.
explain that. If I could do what they could do in the weather they're doing it in, I'd feel like a kid too. So I don't mean any disrespect by it at all. It is, but like
Oh,
you
no,
said,
no,
it's just
I
a
know.
mindset.
I have it too, I have that same mindset, and I understand they're grown young men out there
Yeah.
playing a very physical, grown man sport, right?
Coaching perspective.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, by the way, Joe, congratulations on Bill Cowher. Congratulations.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, long time coming. I think it's kind of interesting if you think about it, because a lot of the way the media does this kind of stuff is they tend to gauge people on rings, hardware. And the longer this goes on, I think the more pronounced that becomes. But he had a really good career, and kind of the way could kind of touch on something that Loyalist was just talking about with the coaching, and how they had that energy out there and that chemistry, and you're building a chemistry with your team. He was a coach that was like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when it
He was a bulldog. It was
yeah,
great.
well, the chin, man. I mean, come on.
Well, the chin, but the intensity too. I mean, he could stare at some of these grown men playing football, and they're like, "I ain't going to go over that side of the field. Dude, where's the bus?"
Yeah, and so to tie into what you're saying, it's good to see that kind of energy coming from, or hear that kind of energy is coming from the coaching staff, and it's seeping down into the locker room. And that's how you get that kind of chemistry, and that's how you get these guys to buy in. And then you have what I think is one of the most important things is you've got a culture. You've
Of
got
respect.
and a mutual respect among each, and that's how you get guys to buy in, and that's when you go that's when you go to the next level. That's, in my opinion, what gets teams to the next level.
This is why I respect the Colts and the Steelers at the end of the day, because again, they always, when you see like coaching like that, you see those guys who are like on the sidelines who are fiery, people that make you remember, like opposing teams. It's like you don't want to root for the team that you're going to be playing against, but it's also like that mutual respect.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those situations where the players, the coach generally doesn't have to do or say much on the field or in the locker room or even off the field, because the players have so much respect for that coach, that especially the veterans, the leaders, your captains and your vocal leaders of the teams, they're going to go out there and do and say exactly what the coach is already going to say and do, if something comes up.
And that creates an organization where all of a sudden things are coming together. It's like the evil empire, New England, or the Colts, who they develop talent right from the ground level up, or the Steelers, who are just tenacious, always had strong leadership. I mean, a little bit less in the last couple of years. It's like the Bell situation, dealing with drama players like that. But again, there are organizations you respect because of that.
Yeah.
You know what though? I'm sorry. Bill Cowher and his intenseness, but he couldn't coach right now. Could you imagine if he had to put a mask on?
Yeah, we talked about that. We had talked about that.
They would have to change that bad boy out about every half quarter or so, because man, I used to like them officials. When he was not happy with an officiating call or whatever, I mean, I love that fire. I mean, that right there makes you want to just go out and, and do what you have to for the coach.
You still talking about Cower?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
When he got that print off, it was a Monday night game against the Bills. He got the print off from the camera, showed 12 men on the field, and I forget who the ref was, but he ran up to him at halftime and shoved it in his front pocket and yelled at him.
I remember that.
I do too, right? Because I remember he didn't even really look like he said anything, just and then ran off the field.
Yep. What's up, Brian? Thanks for being in here. Hey, guys, all of you that are watching, just to let you know, this is typically how a Patreon live stream runs, okay? Those of you that are joined with Patreon, you have the opportunity. The link has been sent to you personally on Patreon to join if you'd like. It is in your messages. I sent it to you about a half an hour before we went live. Those of you that are not part of it, it's how it goes. It's only $5. $5 a month, and you get to join these. You're in the chat. You get to ask questions. You can join this stream personally. Give your opinions and thoughts and stuff live. You don't even have to have your picture up the way all four of us do right now. You've seen how I had where I didn't even have my camera going. Bam, you could do this if you don't want to show your face. But I'm sorry, but I'm a YouTube personality, so you got to see my ugly mug. But yeah, it's only $5 a month, so go check that out. Bottom of my description. It's very simple, very easy. But while you're here, please don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, and tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time I go live or upload a video, because that helps me get it out to more people. And the more people, the more that helps me out, and helps Loyalist out. Because as much as we love doing this, we are trying to make a little bit of money off of it.
A lot of driving these last few weeks.
You're muted.
Yeah.
At least cover that gas expense.
I can imagine. I mean, Loyalist, you said you had to drive about an hour, 45 minutes or something like that to get up there?
Well, yeah, sometimes I do. Like if Law and I, if I go and pick him up and we just drive together, then yeah. But now if I was just going from my place or whatever, it's only about an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's about an hour. It's about exactly the same for me if I drive straight from my house. So
is everything in Indy an hour away from you? Is that usually all uphill in the snow? Is that how it is?
Both ways.
Uphill both ways, yeah, with no tires on.
No shoes.
Now, Lauren, I gotta say something though. It is not the same amount of time, because 31's a parking lot half the time.
Oh, with 2 lanes for a highway, that's it?
Well, no, right now it's 1 lane. And that was the bad part, because they have all these orange barrels taking over half the road. It's an invasion.
Pennsylvania State Flower, them orange things on the side of the road. Yeah. Yeah.
On a normally 70 miles an hour on that highway or something like that. And there's times when you're just sitting there dead stopped, not moving at all for like an hour, because stupidity. Michael Fell's talking about Darius and the things that he's on Twitter. Man, Twitter is a place where you can shout out your opinions and your beliefs and stuff like that. And Darius is a very vocal person. And whether you agree or disagree with what he says, he has a right to say it just like anybody else does. So, yeah, I understand that he's an he's not for vaccinating himself, but that's, it is what it is. I mean, there's a lot of people that are a little bit worried about it because, it isn't FDA approved. So I understand why some people do have a little bit of worry about that. But everybody has their own opinion, and, that's what Twitter's for. So, I'm not going to say I'm on Darius's side or not on Darius's side. That's a kind of a political thing, and I try to stay away from that. So, But I'm just saying that's what Twitter's for, you know. It's what
We're
social
here.
media is for, to get your voice out and let people know how you feel.
We're here for football. That's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah,
You know?
we are here for football, or talking about cars, or what the weather's like where we live right now.
Well,
Oh, what's
before
the
we
better
go-
liquor?
Before we go too far, I did just want to get out some things that I saw today that, guys, like I said, Jacob Easton had two really nice, hard runouts to the sideline on the right, and dropped two really nice ones. And he had a couple bad ones too, but I'll tell you right now, I'm starting to see a little bit more comfortable. And like I said, I don't know if it was just the rhythm that he had gotten into or whatever, but I guess the thing is it's just nice to see it now in pads and see that, okay, the pieces are there. You know what I mean? And I think, and I want to let everybody know, this is, I think, going to be the weakest part of his year, and that's going to be inconsistency. He's going to have good days. He's going to have bad days. I don't see any of that getting any different other than through these reps. And then I'll tell you now.
Go look at Peyton Manning's rookie year. It's not like he was a poster child for a great rookie season, you know.
Tom Brady.
He set some posters, all right. Most
Everyone's
interceptions by a
somewhere.
rookie.
So
He turned out okay, though.
He turned out all right. All right. It is what it is. So, speaking of the Hall of Fame game, what did you think of your backup quarterback that came in from Arizona or Washington, Joe?
Talking about Dobbs?
Mm.
Or was that Darius? No, Washington? No, what's his name?
No. The ex-Ohio
Haskins.
State quarterback.
Oh, Haskins?
Yeah.
He didn't look all that great.
He struggled a bit.
He did nothing to impress me at all. I mean, all he was doing was throwing dump passes. He didn't look like he had any kind of and I don't know. I can't account for what that's all about. You'd think with a guy like Roethlisberger, entrenched there, who basically hibernates during the off season, that maybe he would have taken some initiative to get out there and say, you know what, I had a starting job at one time. I was a high draft pick. I could have had a badass contract, excuse my language, but I could have had a mean contract, at 25, 26 years old or whatever. Get out there and get working with some of these guys. I mean, their receiving core is decent. Although, again, Johnson had to make sure he dropped the pass on top of that. And that didn't help, but he did not impress me at all. He's got a cannon for an arm. And it was like he made no attempt to try to use it.
Yeah, do you think about that on play calling, or do you believe it was just him not being able to get to the second level of progression?
To be honest with you, I think it had a lot to do with the latter, of him not being able to get to the second level of progression. Now, whether that's got something to do with the fact that he hasn't had the opportunity for whatever reason to develop any kind of chemistry with these guys, I mean, I'll give him a pass on that. But he looked like it was just like, I'm either going to throw the ball, and even when he did launch one, I forget who was out there, where he threw a ball downfield and overthrew the guy. It's like he's either gonna go for that, or he's gonna dump it off to the running back type stuff, and it's like, all right.
What I didn't appreciate about the Steelers, they never gave up, even when they had like field goal, almost another field goal, there was never a point in which you guys crumbled. I mean, again, you guys pulled it out, but again, it showed drive from your team. I'll at least admit, unlike the Cowboys, who seemed to give up in the third quarter.
Yeah. Now, I will say this: the defense looked really good, and I don't have their names because everything's been kind of crazy around here, to be honest with you. So I'm a little bit kind of behind on some of this stuff, so you'll have to forgive me for that. But there was two defensive backs that were playing with they were playing with the third stringers when Haskins was in there. 35 and 26. Of course, they had two different number 26s. You know how the preseason works. These guys have to share numbers sometimes, or it happens. But the way their defense looked good to me. Their defense looked solid. I mean, Highsmith obviously had they had a couple of sacks. Highsmith looked as good as I thought he was going to look. But their defense impressed me much more than anything. The pass rush was there. The way it wasn't the fact that these guys were out there playing with the third stringers. It was the way that they would get their technique, the way they would knock down a pass, the way they were going after the ball, the way they were competing out there. They were hitting. Typical Pittsburgh Steelers defense. The offense, to me, though, however, just did not look good all around.
So your pass rusher, outside linebacker that went to the Titans, could you tell who's replacing him, and can you tell that he has been replaced? Is the person that's taken his spot, playing up to that same potential that he did last year?
Now that's kind of an unfair question. Because Bud Dupree is a supreme talent, and there's more to him than just being able to get off the edge.
Yes.
And cause destruction in the backfield. He is supremely talented. I mean, he does things on the field that you're not going to see very many guys ever be able to do. I mean, it's just the nuances that he brings with his skill set, with his technique, with his dedication to. He is a worker. He's a hard worker, and it shows. He does his job. He knows his playbook. He knows where he's supposed to be. He has that knowledge, and he's just he works harder than a lot of guys do. Coming off the knee, I don't know how he's going to be, although you didn't ask me that. But Alex Highsmith, I was high on him last year. I was high on him when he was a backup to Dupree.
Awesome.
He's got a similar type of skill set, although he's not going to ever be as good in coverage. He needs to do a little bit of work in the running game, but he's only his second year now, third year. But I like him. I really like him.
Give him that time to develop. I definitely think he could be. I'm not saying Gilmore levels or certain defensive players, but again, you're developing a pretty solid team there, and that Iron Curtain might be coming back right quick.
Well, I don't know. Did you see in the last couple of years? Last year they were freaking dominant. They won games off that defense. The majority of the games they won, in my opinion, was won because of that aggressive and opportunistic defense that they have.
And to go to that point, Lawrence, I mean, here's another aspect to that where you start talking about. We talked about this a couple nights ago, I believe. Interior rushing. You got Cam Hayward and Stephon Tuitt.
Yeah,
those two guys are really, really heavily understated on that defense. When you can get consistent pressure, or you've got a guy that reminds me of when we had Big Snack, Casey Hampton. When you can get that consistent pressure up the middle to where that guy's drawing double teams damn near every time the ball is snapped, that makes everybody else's job easier. So I think Highsmith is in a good situation there, just particularly with those two guys, playing more on the interior. Of course, Hayward's more of a zero nose, 1 tech, 3 tech type of guy. Tuitt plays a little bit more. He'll swing to the 5 tech sometimes. But so you're in a good situation to be able to develop and get some confidence, and that's huge. That's huge for a guy like Highsmith to be in that situation.
Hey, Colts Loyalist Chuck, we got a question from Wyatt Law. I know Deo hasn't started actively practicing. I'm just wondering if he is even doing any side field work with training staff. Has he just been on the field at all?
No, he's at best a little bit of stretching. He's out on the field. He's walking, but as far as any football activities, he's not even doing the level of work that we've been seeing from Eric Fisher. He's not been, yeah, easy for me to say. He has not been running sideline to sideline. He's not been doing end zone to end zone, none of that. So I've seen him walking around a little bit. I didn't even see him this morning. I saw him come out at first, but then I don't know if he had a bunch of, rehab and stuff that they were doing behind the scenes. But unfortunately, we haven't really got to see him other than, little glimpses there before practice gets going.
And that's what
Thank
you
you
get.
for the question, Wyatt.
Yeah. That's what you get with between, when you're in college and you suffer an injury, and then you get in the pros and you suffer, because they suffered the same injury on the exact same day, which is weird. And we ended up, and they weren't even on the Colts last year, but we, for some reason, was like, you know what, we're going to grab a bunch of guys with Achilles injuries. Since we already had a bunch of guys with Achilles injuries on our team already, but with your point about Fisher, he's out there actually doing personal stuff and working out, and we expect to see him, maybe not, working out with the team, but actually suited up and probably doing, individual drills and stuff for himself in the next few weeks. Whereas Dio, we're not seeing anything, and that shows the difference in the medical attention between what you're going to get when you're in college and what you're going to get when you're in, well, let's face it, a Pro Bowl or, NFL player. So
absolutely. And like today, I mean, there is days where you can tell that, okay, this is a workout day for Fisher. This is, this is where they're really, 3 days ago or whatever, I know he ran more than anybody else on that field. And I mean, I'm not talking, the gallop or just, I mean, he was working up a serious lather. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm anxiously waiting. And the thing is you get to see these guys coming out there and talking to the other guys, and so you can see that they're communicating and pointing at, oh, hey, see how he did that, and stuff. And I have to believe every even little mental rep that he's getting for a veteran, of his capabilities, I have to believe that's just huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, I understand he's still going to have to build up the endurance. He's going to have to get the timing and just, his spacing with Q or Reed or whoever's beside him. But still, like I said,
absolutely,
he's out there getting himself ready. So I like it.
So I want to kind of slide away a little bit from the conversation of all of our teams, actually, because some big news came out. Josh Allen, massive contract extension, right?
Yes.
6 years, $258 million extension. And I'm looking at the contract right now over on Spot Track, and his base salary isn't jack. His base salary, okay, so in 2023 he's only at $27 million, and in 2024 it's $23 million, and then $14 million, $22 million, then $14 million, then $15 million. Then you go over and look at his roster bonuses. It's built exactly like Mahomes, except it's not a 10-year contract. $25 million, $25 million, $25 million. He's got $150 million guaranteed off a roster, total. But it's a lot of that, like $100 million of that, is in roster bonuses. And that means if he's still on the roster, then he gets paid it. It's the same way Mahomes is done. So I like how they extended Josh Allen. Because he's still young. He's only been in the league 3 years, but he has progressed year after year, gotten better and better each year. And they wanted to lock him up long term, but they wanted to have that safe out just in case something happens, say in 2024. So, yeah. What are you guys' thoughts on Josh Allen getting that massive contract and how they kind of designed that contract?
Hey, I was rooting for Buffalo to muck this up so he could go over to the NFC. You know, I mean, I was like, just let them go. I want everybody in the NFC right now. No, I mean, I think the young man's very talented. I think Buffalo's a lot of similarities. I've told you this before. I feel like there's a lot of similarities between the Colts and the Bills, just in their organization. Not to mention, you know, even the same situations and the same shortfalls. You know, I mean, I see. So I'm all happy for that. I mean, and now he's got his receiver there and Diggs. They're going to be a good team, and I can't wait to watch us go up against them this year. I think that's just going to be an electric game.
What are your thoughts on his contract, Joe?
Ross, you okay, me?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, $150 million guaranteed to pay a guy to throw a ball. I mean, that's kind of where we're at here, right? Not for nothing, but congrats to Josh Allen and his great grandkids. I mean, they're going to be taken care of. You know what I mean? So yeah, for real. I mean, that's great. I mean, I think he is proven that he is a type of quarterback in today's NFL with all the expectations. He's proven that, you know, what it is, he is worth that kind of a contract. So, well, obviously, congrats to him. He does bring a lot to that team. I'm still kind of worried about what they're going to do with a tight end and running back. You know,
I'm a little worried about how they're going to. Yeah, the running back situation, because they had no running game at all last year. None. It was all Josh Allen in the throwing game. But also their pass rush. They had to blitz so much to get pressure. And that their front four has been really kind of yeah, which is weird when you're talking about guys like Jerry Hughes and them, you know, who in the past were really good at that, and it seems like they've kind of hit that cliff, you know, because they weren't able to bring the pressure last year.
Well, now, hey, Ella, real quick on that. I was curious. You had SpoTrack open. What was the signing bonus? Did you see any of those numbers there? Or
yeah, hold on one moment.
I could call it up myself, but
so guaranteed at signing, legitimately, yesterday when he signed his contract, $100 million went straight into his bank account.
That's insane. And that's prorated over 6 years or 5 years.
6, yeah.
6.
Yep.
It is 6 now? Okay.
Yeah.
It used to be 5, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
That's just freaking crazy.
Hey, my big thing is that you look at the New York quarterback scene. Jets, Bills, the Giants. You got to grab your money quick. You know, unfortunately, if you're a young kid in the league, you know, your career could end tomorrow. You know, it's and especially, and I'm not knocking Bills Mafia. Congratulations, you got a great quarterback who's got a high ceiling. Congratulations, Bills Mafia. I mean, again, you guys have put up with a lot being in the AFC division. It's, you know, but
a lot of teams would like to have your quarterback. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But they were smart enough with this kid not to go into a Sam Darnold. And I know I bring up the Sam Darnold situation, but imagine if he falls off. He's got to live on whatever he got on his signing contract for the rest of his career if everything goes south. So I understand the mentality, grab that bag. But the organization will always put themselves in a position where we're not just going to give you free money if you want to walk away or if you go down. It's sad, but that's the business.
Yeah. That's where all that roster bonus comes in, you know, year after year after year. So
yeah.
You know how you were talking about Buffalo needing to, you know, improve their running. I mean, think about it. What is the cheapest position to fill? Because you're always going to want to go young in the running back position. I mean, so that's going to be your cheapest. So now's the time to get your big high ticket guy under, you know, under the 6 years and stuff, you know? Yeah. I wanted to go to the chat real quick because I like this question. This is from Kayvon Jackstar.
Yes.
So he's asked about, well, you know, Lamar Jackson. And the reason I like this question, for me, is yes, how much, but how long? How long of a contract do you take a Lamar Jackson and his style of play on?
See, I'm
Yep.
really nervous with Jackson because obviously Jackson, when he's on the field and he's healthy, oh my goodness, the dude is dynamic. He can change a game in a heartbeat. But one play, he's done. And he's putting himself out there every play to have that one specific play. There's a reason why pocket quarterbacks last longer. You know, they're not out there running around getting hit by safeties and linebackers on every play. And Lamar is doing that. And I personally, I don't know if I could feel comfortable as a GM to give him big money past the third year of a contract. You know, I'll give him fat cash up to that point, you know, but, you know, I would make sure that, you know, I would have some kind of clause in there, you know, and out to where, you know, if he gets injured and, you know, because like I said, I mean, we all saw what happened with RG3, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he was.
And I think I mean, first off, can you imagine? I mean, you're sitting there trying to tell Lamar's mom this. You know what I mean? No, I don't want to pay you because, you know, your son's going to get hurt, okay? Just that dynamic has got to be interesting.
I think that Bills contract is a great template for something similar that the Ravens should use. Lamar is a dynamic talent. The problem was early on in his career, he tried to do everything. I think their coaching staff has started to do a better job of, if you got to run, no problem. But again, don't make that your first option. Let's not put you in harm's way every down. I think the coaching staff has done a better job of it than early on, because it's like the mentality like Russ Cook on Seattle Seahawks and see how that worked out. I just say is keep it reasonable, but always have that threat to the defense that you are going to run, which always plays havoc with the defense. I personally like Cam when he came in because, again, on a rebuild year, you need absolutely something to throw off defenses, to make them question, what are you going to do? With a running quarterback, I always, like, even Josh Allen, he can move when he has to. You know, having that threat of the run from the quarterback, I believe, is paramount in the league today, to a point. But also, I think the Bills' contract is a great template for what they should do with Lamar. Give him that upfront bonus. Give him that money that's reasonable, but he's going to be really happy with. And then you stay healthy, we keep paying you. If you don't, we still love you, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Now, Joe, you got anything you'd like to say?
Well, just real quick, you know, I mean, I think with Josh Allen, it's a little bit different than it is with Lamar Jackson, because I think Josh Allen has taken, and really he's shown in that first 3 years that he has taken that step to the next level to where he's going to use his arm first.
Mm-hmm.
He has proven that he is capable to shred you from the pocket. And even on a rollout, he has gone and he's expanded his skill set to the point where I would feel a lot better about paying a guy like Josh Allen that kind of money than I would Lamar Jackson, to be honest with you. I mean,
and I mean, not to mention, I mean, just look at the visits, okay? Josh Allen, I mean, don't get me wrong. I know Andrew Luck was built like Josh Allen, you know. I understand he can still get hurt, but he is going to be able to withstand a little bit more punishment. He's going to, like last year, he's going to be able to have these contacts with the Darius Leonards of the league and you know, I mean, hold his own. You know, he's not going to, I mean, Lamar Jackson, he's more of that T.Y., you know, T.Y. Hilton mentality, you know, avoid the contact and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And
you can't see every hit when it comes.
Yeah. And I feel like I hijacked Kayvon's question, but do you guys have a number for what you think would be a good number?
Thinks
I see that
year,
too.
$120 million.
I think that's
guaranteed.
I think that's way low balling, Kayvon.
I do too. I don't see Lamar saying no.
You look at see. Here's the thing.
There were so many teams that would pay more.
Well, here's the deal. What I'm looking at. I mean, you're looking at Watson got paid $40 million a year, right? And Josh. Well, I mean, he did. Josh has got he's got like what, $41 million a year. You know, I expect like Ross is talking about. I expect it to be around the $40 million a year, but there's going to be an out somewhere in that contract, like year after year after year. You know, that's how I think it's going to end up being.
And Baltimore is such a well-run organization. Okay, guys, I have to believe that before they even drafted Lamar, they had to have. I'm not saying have all the fine details and everything, but they had to have a plan. Okay, we've seen how these situations turn out. But if this young man performs, what is our plan for this? Would you agree? You're both laughing.
It was more about Kirk Cousins. He got paid, and people are debating about should Lamar get paid. I think you guys are putting up reasonable points. My biggest thing is like, this kid is a talent. Like, again, this is a kid that could get him to a Super Bowl, and he doesn't show any signs of stopping. He's just got to show more maturity and not every time try to rush the middle of the pack and try to get 5 more yards, because if he goes down, let's be honest, that's their season. They don't have a Joe Flacco to come in, or someone like really that's going to be able to lead that team behind him. So Lamar, it's bank or bust,
Well, on another note there, regardless of what your, opinion of how to compensate him for what he brings to the team, he's got an MVP under his belt.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to bring more, that's going to add weight to the bag. That's just going to add weight to the bag no matter what.
This is going to lead me into something.
What is it? 2 playoff wins versus, I don't even know how many playoff wins Lamar's had and the MVP. Yeah. I mean, that's got to hold a lot of weight, I would have to say.
Well, This is the one point I want to bring up. Green Bay is looking down the barrel of Aaron Rodgers, MVP quarterback. All of a sudden, not happy with the organization, not listening to his demands, not even bring him into conversations. Are we going to see a type of situation where another league MVP is going to move on from a team they've been with for a large amount of time?
Well, Rodgers will be with the team this year. They just signed that contract adjustment.
But the extension is not there.
Yeah.
No, but I still think that the age makes this a apples to oranges situation, because with Lamar being so young, I just think that adds a whole different matter. I mean, and I'm not saying that Rodgers is over the hill, okay? But I'm saying that, you look at Rodgers and you think this may be whatever his next contract is, maybe his final contract. With Lamar, you're hoping to get
at least one more out of it on top of this, hoping, but
that's why I'm very emphatic about that.
Or it turns into a Brett Favre situation. He heads over to Minnesota.
So Cam, I've got a question for you, Cam. What are your toys like down there or up there in New England?
Okay, let me get this right for you so I can speak as if I'm Cam right now. So, Cam Newton, the amount of talent he has compared to last year, and I think you guys will all agree to this, last year's offensive talent was lacking, to say the least. I love my team, but Jaron, I looked at what we have, and we were in a rebuild, a retool. I was expecting 2 seasons of he's our bridge guy. He's going to get us through this tough time, sell some jerseys, help mentor the new kid, get us into that next age, with the next quarterback. But with the talent he has, 2 great tight ends, solid wide receiver in Aguilar. I'm terrible at names, so forgive me. A lot of guys trying to play more up to snuff after a season off. It's going to be real interesting. I think if he doesn't try to do too much and just plays conservative football, I think he will be fine. If he doesn't, and starts fumbling on the goal line and losing games, they're going to lose patience with him really quick. I want to see him do well because I would love to see a kid of this talent get into a Super Bowl. I got to stop saying kid. But at the end of the day, I would like to see him have success. And with the crew around him, I think there's great potential for it. So it's all up to him.
All right. So
am
I the only
during camp?
I want to say something too though, real quick before you do that. Am I the only one that's a little worried that the starting quarterback doesn't know the names of his wide receivers?
Why was it something I missed?
He was like Nelson. I don't remember his name, but and I was like, no, you were supposed to be acting like Cam.
I hope you remember me on the field.
I'm a fan. I leave stats and smarts to you guys, honestly, but
we're all in trouble.
Yeah,
I'm just giving you a hard time, man. That's what we do.
Oh no, I appreciate it. I mean, what's your thoughts? What's an outsider's thoughts? Oh, go ahead.
From what I'm understanding, Johnny Smith is having himself a heck of a camp. Am I wrong?
That's what I was trying to find out. I've lost track of that being all Colts-oriented.
I'm hearing that Nelson Aguilar and Johnny Smith is having a good camp. Am I wrong on that hearing?
Yes, people are saying that a lot, but people say a lot of things. I've seen some great catches from the practices I've watched. It's very exciting, but until we get into preseason, I kind of drone out the noise just because it's like, let's be honest, it's practice. They're trying out things they normally wouldn't try. Let's just take a step back. The talent is upgrading. This is what I try to tell any Patriots fans out there is let's relax. Let's let them get the chemistry, and we'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, this is an upgrade. Every position we needed a solution to, they went out and bought.
Yeah, and
like I can't complain.
Yeah, they sure did. They sure did. That's what I was going to say.
Belichick did not want to go through a season trying to develop talent that wasn't developing. You got those two kids that we drafted, the two tight ends. Like, I just don't see them going anywhere. They haven't stepped on even onto the field. I think it was a good offseason for us. I'm not guaranteeing a Super Bowl or maybe even AFC championships, but I'm seeing 10 wins on the board. I can see it, especially against the Colts.
Well, the interesting thing about that situation too for us is, because they picked up Cam Newton for a song and a dance, basically.
Pennies on the dollar, yeah.
In quarterback terms, you know what I mean? They were able to then go out and do that, and it's like, hey,
Yes.
like you got a lot to prove to me. So I think it's got more to do with the way the Patriots organization handled that situation that gave them the ability to come out. Because then, I mean, if you really look at this, and then you contrast that with Pittsburgh, what are we doing here? It's like it's a complete polar opposite. We're paying Ben Roethlisberger, who's been sitting on the bench, who hasn't been looking particularly good in the last couple of years, all this ridiculous money, and we can't afford to sign anybody else. We're losing offensive linemen left and right. We're losing, all-pro pass rushers, and we're losing, and so I got to hand it to New England for how they approached that when they had that opportunity. They see a guy, okay, wait. So they're not married to Cam Newton by any means, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Again, and I like Cam because, again, he's a fun guy. Like, again, he's gonna be the type of guy who puts, nice way to say it, butts in seats. People are either gonna love to hate him or love to love him. You cannot stop Patriots news right now, every single day. Like, say what you will about his play style, but he gets people interested.
Yep. All right, let's go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was something I was sitting here thinking while you guys were talking, and because I'm not really in the whole Boston market but I mean, my connections to it,
Mm-hmm.
But I hear Ray and I hear you guys talk and stuff, and it seems like, and I'm not saying that it's quite as toxic as what I imagine a Philadelphia fan base, but it seems like it's getting close to that. Okay, now and I was sitting here thinking, you've got Cam Newton, I mean, he is so good at handling the press and just all that whole situation. You know what I mean? Okay.
You
You guys
imagine a
don't have
backup
that,
quarterback handling that?
huh?
Could you imagine a backup quarterback or a
Uh,
Stidham or a Brian Hoyer?
Hoyer.
Well, not only handling that, could you imagine your rookie having nobody like Cam to teach you how to handle these situations? Because I mean, let's be honest, guys. Cam, he sometimes just sort of has that I don't give a about.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think that is a good mentality to take because, like I said, these guys. I mean, I'm not even pretending to be in their situation, but
Yeah.
all the different points of views that I'm seeing now with being involved with the YouTube channel and stuff, and it's like I have to imagine that their situation has got to be magnified, especially at a position of, being the quarterback. And I mean,
there are people we are connected to, and just Boston media in general, who do not want Cam to start. They want to throw mac and cheese out to the wolves day one.
So,
in all seriousness, they want to
know.
give him no development time.
So I'm waiting on Mac Jones to pull a Fitzmagic.
Ooh.
No, hold on. Just what he did a couple years ago when he borrowed old dude's clothes and went out there to the press. Could you imagine Mac Jones being like, hey, Cam, let me borrow your pimp hat and your, this and that, and get out here and address the media. That would liven things up. I think that would loosen a lot of things up over there in New England also. Well,
according to Cam, he's as cool as the underside of a pillowcase. So, he might be the guy to do that.
And knowing Cam, he'd be all about, here, I'll take you to my closet, dude.
What do you think, Joe? What's your thoughts on
Well, I mean, he's from Utah, right? Or he went to school in Utah. I mean, he's probably just, that whole media circus, that's a big transition, but he's probably just going to be standing at these press conferences like with a 1,000-yard stare. Like, are you kidding me right now? You're really asking me this kind of type of thing, because, I mean, it's different out there. And it's a lot different.
It's vicious. It's vicious.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, Joe. You guys, within a year or two, are going to be in a very similar spot like we were when Peyton left and now with Tom. I mean, you're not just replacing a quarterback, okay? You know what I mean? You're replacing a iconic talent, all right? And we were fortunate as heck. We had Andrew Luck just sitting there, okay? I mean, but there's not too many guys that have what Andrew Luck had coming out of college. Okay, so to sit there and replace a Ben Roethlisberger or a Tom Brady.
Did they have a front line?
Huh?
Did they have a front line in college?
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm a terrible
No, that's all right.
It's the truth, though. It's the truth. I mean, that's the other part of this, So, okay, to be honest with you, I don't care as much. Really, I would have honestly, I would have let Roethlisberger walk 2 years ago. All right, I would have let him walk 2 years ago. Now, hey, it's because you got to try to take your emotions out of it, and I'm about as emotionally connected to him as a player as any player that I know, because he's got a house right up the street from where my grandfather's buried. I mean, he's embraced that whole. He is. He's synonymous. He has, and he is synonymous with Pittsburgh football. But at the same time, hey, buddy, you got to do what's best for your team. So this kind of goes into another tangent that I don't want to really spend too much time on. But then you look at the Aaron Rodgers contract renegotiations. What was that really all about, do you think? What was that about? Was that about Rodgers saying, hey, you know what? I don't know if I want to do this crap anymore. I'll do you a favor. I got my money. I got my bag, Yin's got a young quarterback. You want to get out there? Yeah, sure. I'm, screw it. I don't care. I'd rather go surfing. You know what I mean?
I'm not one that sits there and is gullible and buys into everything. I'm really not. But I really have listened to, Aaron Rodgers. I listen to Aaron Rodgers weekly, basically, on the McAfee show and stuff. And I do believe that a lot of what there's a lot of truth to what he's saying, that he's just tired of the way Green Bay operates with, with their veterans and stuff. And I can honestly believe, you know what, he's like, I've been paid. If this ends up blowing up in my face or whatever, I mean, and I'm not saying that he's willing to just, throw it all away or anything, but I really think that he was just trying to publicly send a message to those people that he has no other way, to get this out there. You know what I mean?
Frustration.
Oh, yeah,
because I mean, he could be like the rest of the people and just sit there and whine about, why I don't like it. I don't like. No,
be right back, guys.
Okay.
He's just, I feel like he's just. This is the only way that he can communicate to the powers that be that this is what my opinion is. I think a lot of the fan base feels that way, and we'd like it to change. But that's just my point of view.
So I do have a question. We, as a group, all four of us, even though Ross ain't here right now, we have said it time and time again. In-house stays in-house, right? In the locker room stays in the locker room. Aaron Rodgers basically threw all the team's garbage right out there on the front yard in that press conference. That's exactly what he did.
But you know what?
Now
he did not throw the locker stuff in. He threw the front office. Okay,
yeah,
they're not part of that locker room.
Give me 1 second, because I want to speak on this.
Okay.
Hey guys, sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. Did you hear what I said, Ross?
I was unfortunately talking to my beautiful wife.
Okay. So basically
honey,
what I was saying was, we all four of us talk about how, you keep the locker room stuff in the locker room. You keep your personal business inside the personal business, and deal with things out. And what Aaron Rodgers did was just threw everything, all the garbage, right out onto the front yard in that press conference, right?
My problem.
I get Loyalist was talking about, it wasn't a locker room thing he was throwing out. It was garbage though. It was his garbage. It was how he felt about the organization and how they dealt with stuff. And I want to know, is that a situation that you should, or that you're okay, that people are okay with someone doing, or is that again something that you should not bring up and talk about? That should be something that you and the players should get together and discuss inside with the organization themselves.
Well, I got to jump off, but I do want to give one quick point on this. Sorry, Joe. I got to go. But what I will say is he's been dealing with this for 17 years within that organization. He's tried for change. They've gone rid of dynasty-level talent that has given so much back to their organization and kicked them out the door. Like, do we need to talk about Clay Matthews? Do we need to talk about Cobb? Do we need to talk about a lot of these guys who just got unceremoniously dumped to other teams without even a thank you, goodbye, or anything like that? I think this is him, one, setting the record straight. Two, because he's tried every outlet, I assume, to make change happen. And the only thing he found at this point that was going to make a change was drag out the contract talks, put all this dirty laundry right out to the fans, and last but not least, directly call out upper management for being dinosaurs.
You know what?
At the end of the day, sorry.
Go ahead. At the end of the day, I didn't mean
At the end of the day, like he said, people don't come to Green Bay. Players do not come to Green Bay for the beautiful weather. They don't come there to bask in the tourism of Green Bay. They come to win championships, or the chance to win the championship. Well, all Aaron wants is a seat at the table and to be a part of the conversation. And Green Bay, much to their own mistake, I believe, it's just me personally, again, my opinion, they have not done that. And they have, look, they haven't even gotten him a receiver in years. The only phone they threw him was Cobb recently. Like, how many times did leave first-round wide receivers that went to other teams? Like, imagine if he had a DeAndre Hopkins. Imagine if he, like, even if Derrick Henry to support him. It's been a long time coming, and again, I don't disagree with the way he handled it.
Well, I think Jones is a pretty good running back. So, I mean, I feel like he's a top 10 running back in the NFL.
Yep.
But one thing that press conference that he did affect the organization majorly. And I'm not talking about just with his contract talks or what's in the organization right now. For years to come, that's going to affect their free agency.
Yep.
Because how many players right now saw that, heard that, and got the warning and said, I don't want to go to Green Bay now?
Well, I don't know.
And guys, I do have to run. Joe, Chuck, Lawrence, your fans, you guys have all been great. It was nice chatting with you. I'll try to make the next one. If I make it back before you guys shut down shop, I'll try to jump in.
We probably won't last much longer.
To you guys tonight.
Yep. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Take care, Ross.
Joe,
it was good hanging out with you again, buddy. Yep.
Always good, guys.
I mean, so from my perspective too, I mean, he brought up a lot of good points. In terms of clearing the air, and he's been putting up with it for 17 years. I kind of tend to take this more from a player's perspective. I normally favor that, just because, if you've ever been in a locker room or you've ever played at any level, college level, you know how this stuff works. I mean, the pros are different, obviously, because it's even more, amplified. Everything.
Yeah.
But so from my perspective, it's like I did a whole hour and a half long video about the media and how they handled this situation, going all the way back to his press conference after the NFC Championship game. And it's like they take that one little soundbite and then they just run with it. And that was like the entire offseason of NFL reporting was speculation on what the hell was going on with Aaron Rodgers. And then that turns into people like somebody who I will not name out loud on this show, just basically dropping a bomb on draft day. And it's like, where did you hear that? Because this particular person was on another particular media mogul's show a couple days later or a day later or after the weekend, I think it was, who I actually met. I actually got to meet the guy who, anyway, because I lived in the same town. But it was like, no, it was just stuff. It was just rumors. It's just stuff I'm hearing, rumors. And then this is the entire off season. And then this is the entire way that the media is making their money and keeping people engaged in their product for the 4-5 months, even up to draft day. And then you're going to drop this bomb on draft day. And what are we doing here? What are we doing here? So it goes from my perspective. Yeah, I agree with you, LO. I completely agree with you, LO, that, those are the kind of things that you do want to handle behind closed doors. Those are those are the kinds of things you want to handle in the locker room. Those are the kinds of things you want to, no comment. And then you go to the guy that you actually need to talk to and you talk to him and you have that conversation.
And it's just ridiculous. I mean, my take on it again is just, the information. I feel like there was a conversation from management to media. I feel like the other key piece, Aaron, kept quiet. I felt like, he didn't get wrapped up in all the speculation and stuff. And I think that just made it even more ridiculous. Okay.
Exactly.
Just because, and when you see a team, instead of attacking the problem, they're trying to spin it. In such a way that, appeases this other party, being the media, that doesn't even need to be part of the process.
And that's the entire thing. I think that we've gotten to a point, and this, I think what this does is it gets us to a point where we realize there's a greater problem here, because whose fault was that? Whose fault was that really? Was that, okay, Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to tell you what, if I'm Aaron Rodgers and the coach takes the ball out of my hand when I know I got to score twice to win this game, and he takes the ball out of my hand on 4th down, and I know we got to get a touchdown no matter what we're doing, and he takes the ball out of my hand on 4th and goal, I'm going to feel like crap. I'm not going to be happy about it. And who would? As a competitor, who would feel good about that? And then they take that and they say, and then it goes to, on draft day, Aaron Rodgers wants out of Green Bay. Well, okay, so where's all this crap coming from? Who is saying what, and who's picking up on what? And it goes back to then, the media are the ones, the NFL is making massive money.
Yeah.
Because the networks are paying them massive money, and we are paying the networks massive money to watch this stuff.
It's the same thing, to a smaller scale, but it's like for us, a guy goes and has an injury, and all of a sudden it's possible it could be season ending. It's possible that, and it's like, wait a minute. The team's not saying that. The doctors aren't saying that. The player's not saying that. Why is this message the one that's carrying all this? Go ahead. I'm ranting.
You got a media guy from the media going up to Chicago the day after Wentz gets hurt. Do you want to get traded to Indianapolis? Huh? Go ahead, Elo. I'm ranting.
That's it's the problem. You're talking about, this is all about money. It is all about money. And when it comes to money, and media and making money, it's all about headlines and shock value. And if you get a big headline and big shock value for that headline, then you're going to get views and clicks and downloads, and that's where all their cash is coming from. So that in and of itself is the problem, because that makes media adjust from wanting to give out dead on accurate information to maybe it's not exactly accurate. They're just going to, swing it to a narrative that they want so that they can make as much money as they possibly can on a story that may or may not be accurate.
But wouldn't you agree that this sport, football, the NFL, is dynamic enough that
right.
if these reporters took a little, and I'm not saying all of them, I'm not an anti-national media, okay? I just don't choose to follow. National media for me is what it's like the appetizer. It's what gives me the little bit, and then if I want to dig into a team, then I go other sources, okay? But to me, if they would spend a little more time just digging, the sport is amazing. These men that are involved and women and coaches are amazing. How in the world is it, that you can't find enough, content out there to sit there and still be able to discuss things that, in my opinion, are more rightfully should be discussed.
Well, then you run into another problem that ties into exactly what you're saying, Loyalist, is that then it becomes such a huge business. And the swings on, the money that's involved here is so enormous. Then it starts turning into, you start turning these front offices into military installations because they don't want anything getting out. It's like Area 51. And then so nobody wants to say nothing. And the media is champing at the bit to get something to keep people engaged in their product. And it's turned into kind of a toxic mix, I think, where.
And real quick, Kayvon Jackstar, I just want to let you know, yes, the team is, quote, owned by fans, but they don't run the team.
Well, yes and no fans, okay? They're owned they're a stock share. That's what they are, and it's ran by the 7 people that have the largest shares of the company, and that's the committee. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're fans, okay? Those are businessmen out there with those stock shares, with the biggest. Now, does a lot of fans own stock in Green Bay? Absolutely. That's obvious. But those 7 big people, those aren't necessarily fans. Those are businessmen trying to make money. But, guys, it's been like a while now. What, an hour and 40? Something like that. I had a lot of fun. We talked about everything. The only thing we didn't get through was...
These are great.
Yeah. I think Watson, the trade from Watson to Philly that they're been talking about is the only thing we haven't really covered. And we kind of talked about that a little bit yesterday. But, yeah. This is great, guys. Also, before I get out of here, shout out to... Oh, hold on. Let me get... John Whistler. He became a patron on Patreon, 10 minutes ago. There was a lot of talking going on. I couldn't get a word in edgewise about that. So, but thank you, John, for joining.
Sorry about that.
No. Well, this is the reason why, people join Patreons for stuff exactly like this. So, guys, if you want to be part of these streams from here on out, this is the stuff that we run on Patreon. And you get when you are a member, for only $5 a month, you get the link a half hour before I go live. When it's going to go live well before, because I post the stream on Patreon earlier that day. You'll be able to get a notification on that. Like today, I think I posted it at like 3 or something, saying I was going to come live at 8. But then about a half an hour prior, I send links to every Patreon to where you can view it and to where you can join in. So
check your email. Check your email.
Yep.
Get
So
notifications.
Appreciate everyone that's in here. 0194D, what's up? Thank you. Terrence Gibbons 33, thanks for being in here as well. And Anthony Skiaskia. I am 100% sure I messed up your last name, and I'm sorry.
I looked at it, I'm like, nope, I am not saying it.
Sasha? Is it Sasha? It looks like Sasha. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'm sorry, but that's what it looks like to me.
But you got many shout outs because we're trying.
Yeah, we are trying. So
Sosha?
Like yeah, something like that. Thanks, guys. Again, Joe, thanks for killing almost 2 hours with us again tonight.
Well, yeah, man. This is great stuff. Because, what you guys do, what yins do, it's real. It's real. Yins are out there. You're regular guys. We're talking about football. We're talking about stuff that we all love, and it's just great. I would rather do this than, build, model cars or whatever, or because I got my own stuff that I'm into. Where, but if you don't have these discussions, and it's really refreshing to have somebody who's willing to cover, like a more, how do I want to say, a more ground level kind of opinion about this stuff, and bring people who aren't like big rock star athletes and big rock star media people, and it's great content. It's great content. It speaks to a lot of people, and it's a platform I really appreciate, because it's a platform where people can get on here and participate in the discussion that we're having. And yins are all intelligent. Everybody I've talked to in chat's really intelligent. We're all respectful football people here. And it's just a great platform. So I really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yep. We appreciate you and everyone like you that does join and hits the like button on the video. Hint, hint, clue, clue. and subscribes and becomes a patron and checks out Newsbreak and all kinds of stuff. Checks out my my merch shop. I know probably only Colts fans like the merch shop, but it's a merch shop. But until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Joe. That's Loyalist right over there. And as usual,